Welcome and welcome back. Serendipitous deck sermon series, but it's going to be a little bit different. I realized I have some stuff to say, but I am going to do all of this in bits as inspiration comes to me over the time that I'm here on this weekend. So yeah, we'll see if I upload it on actual Sunday. I'll make a post if I don't. But anyway, couple things. Because something really stuck with me. I watch a whole bunch of Graham Norton things. Sometimes I just get into a scroll binge. And it was TikTok specifically that I was like seeing clips of the Graham Norton show. And then I was led to see Timothy Chalamet. Anyway, well, this is the point, right? So like in one of the interviews that I was watching, where he was present, someone asked about his name. And he was like, you can call me anything you want. And there were like many ways that I took that. And like he was seriously like, whatever, I don't, whatever. And I get that if you're an actor and you're on different sets, so you have to maybe get used to character names. And I'm not going to go and figure out what it is that that person specifically meant by it. But I was more like doing some stretches and realizing that it was bothering me, but like it wasn't fully bothering me. There was something more to it. And and it felt like, okay, I spoke about my pronouns the last time I was on here, but the journey with it, like I love that I have come to an understanding of my own like body and its relationship with the spirit that lives within it. And that seems to be tied in with words that I now have for myself as far as like non-binary and genderless and gender fluid. But for me, it's not like whether or not I identify with the gender that I am or the sex that I was born as. Basically, I have come over like the last kind of 10, 15 years of my life on a journey that has led to me feeling like, or knowing that there's a spirit that lives within me, or a soul, or there's energy. There's energy that 222. There's energy that lives within me. And before this lifetime, it was doing other things and it was being other forms. And for this leg of the journey, I have incarnated as this body that is named Megan that lives this life path so that I can continue this journey as myself, as a piece of the universe, but also as like my own individual energies, life path, and like spiritual journey. And so there's beautiful things that I get to learn by being specifically housed in this vessel. But I don't live here long term. Like I should just pick one word for it because it might be easier. My essence, my energetic essence, who it is that I am at the core, without all of the stuff that like this human society laid onto me, which I have like done work to unlearn. And I adopt different things that make it easier to just like live a life here in a body that wouldn't necessarily be my ideal or whatever it is. But I also see certain things as just being like more important than whatever it is. And that's for each person to come to on their own journey. And this is the other thing, like it's not every essences or energetic beings journey to come to that realization that they are on a journey that is many lifetimes long and many life forms long. So it's not for everyone to realize that. It's literally whatever it is that you feel the most called to in your life is your calling, is your reason. And a lot of the times it's just to just be, and by being and not like pursuing and this sort of stuff, I've come to that understanding. And so I do have words for it as far as like there being a genderlessness to the spirit that I am inside without this body being its house. But at the same time, I'm really aware. I didn't actually have any fucking choice in the awareness, 444, about what it was going to be like to be in a white female body, specifically an Irish body, like the history of humanity and the way that society treats each other and all of that is down to like our collective consciousness, where it's at on its growth journey, and like the shadow as much as the light that is living and very like prominent within all of us. And then there's the individual version of that. So that's why it's important to deal with your own shadow or your own light and owning both of those, because you can't own it for the collective, but as individuals that make up the collective, we can do that work in ourselves, right? That's how all of us bring it to the table, for everyone and for yourself. So yeah, anyone that's just no self-love, self-work, putting yourself first, all of this kind of thing is not selfish. Yeah. Any hoops. I guess also selfish doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. But yeah, this is literally just my journey on it. This isn't me speaking about how other people should experience their bodies or should experience the existence of like the life that is thrust upon us because we're born into a certain body. It's for you to feel exactly the way that you feel, and that is allowed. And like there should be and is, as we go ahead creating this, the space for you to be exactly who it is that you feel the most true as inside of yourself. And then, you know, how much someone is connected to that being within their outward expression or not, that's down to them as well. Like, should be just giving the space for people with this sort of thing. So, yeah, in case, because when I think about non-binary and I think about genderlessness, it does have like an androgynous look, like there's this aesthetic, there's an external experience of it all that like I like the style of, but it doesn't feel like it grasps it enough. And I think that this is the beauty about the word non-binary. Oh yeah, I came up because of the Timothy Chalamet thing, where like some people are like, any pronouns, or I don't care what my name is, and then other people really, really care that this is the pronoun that you use for them and this is their name, and that matters for both of those people. Like both of those things are true. Respect what it is that the individual is communicating to you. That's the only way to deal with that. But what challenged me was this like person who you could assume, you know, they like probably have a lot of money and they're white and they're male and all this sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, it's easy for you to know. But it's also like, it's a thing of like, oh yeah, I don't have to choose. Like any pronouns a lot of days are what it is that sit well with me. But there's such a like difficulty that people around me have made as far as like using specifically they. When I hear they, when it refers to me, I feel like someone is seeing me for my spirit and my essence before they're seeing me for the body that I live in. And sometimes I can feel attached to that, you know, view of me, and some days I see it as, oh yeah, that's your perspective, that's your use of this pronoun because of your perspective, because of your understanding or misunderstanding of existence the way that I see it, and I can't change that for you. I can't fault that for you. That's not my job. I can share on here all I want, but you can't make someone, you know, change something that's up to them. So don't take that on for anyone else as well. Express yourself, but don't, yeah. It's not our job to like make people change their minds. At the same time, educate the F out of everybody if possible, because like, yeah. it hurts a lot of people, and that's where the not excitement around non-binariness in general is like, it's not a third other gender, like simply. It could be called that, but it's just it's just not identifying as a gender or with your sex, or like, it's so much more free. And it's like, I love that we've come to a place where we have language for it, but it's still very evident as to like how invested in the 3D and in the tangible many people are, when they kind of can't wrap their head around the fact that someone wouldn't necessarily like identify with the body that they're in. And that's like also someone that's yet to realize that they are not just their body. But we also live in a society that literally defines you by your body and treats you different ways because of your body and the way that it shows up in this lifetime. So I don't blame people for being like, oh God, like this is this is who I am. Because everyone around you has literally shaped you to believe that that is like all that you are. Yeah, you are so much more than that. And in my manifestations last night, because it is the Aquarius new moon, it's literally the next morning. I still like barely slept at all. But also I lay on the carpet during a part of my stretches, and now I realize I have like a little framed square around my third eye, which I'm not hating, but yeah. I spoke about my relationship with Source felt like and feels like it's currently leveling up. I don't like the linearness of that kind of way of looking at it, but expanding. It's expanding and it is deepening. And in a way where sometimes certain being in certain situations can be like it's easier to forget that you are you are you're energetic you because the people around you like so heavily speak about their own bodies in a certain way and their own yeah, it's just not very seeing the God and seeing the divine within themselves talk. And it can be really difficult, particularly for me, anyway, that's my personal experience, to like I have to do work in my own mind to remind myself of not only my worth and that I'm deserving of beautiful things and of like we all are, like we are deserving of the life that we're living on Earth, and that Earth houses us here for the short time that we get to be the human that we are, and we get to experience this existence through feelings, which our body allows us to feel. Like it's mind-blowing, it's magical, and it's like such a fucking privilege. And then you hear people talk badly about themselves and it's like, how dare you? How dare you? But at the same time, that's their journey. So like, it's hard to watch because they're a part of me. They're a part of this collective. They're a part of the universe. And they're like actively out loud talking badly about themselves in front of another part of the universe too. Don't do this by yourself. Don't do this in your own head. If I were to give very specific advice of in the don't region, but like to speak badly about yourself in front of other people and to speak badly to them too, like bullying and such, but like you're creating like a normalcy of lower self-worth. And it's like, no, we're not doing that anymore. We deserve better from ourselves, from all of each of ourselves as well that we live near. And yeah, I just felt called to like speak on that because it's something that makes me very happy to know about myself. Happy is like such a small word for that. I feel fulfilled, but also that like I am no longer just the size of my body anymore when I like understanding my energy. It is now bigger than my body, and I'm able to comprehend that in another way, which really helps because at certain points that wouldn't have made sense to me. But it also makes me realize, because we all have the ability for this, that like your energy lives in here and it can expand and your auric field expands with it and you take up more space energetically. That means you have influence. That means that you can influence and like affect people, and like you're not just some random nobody ever. You are always available to power of that nature. That is exactly your birthright because you exist. Like, yeah. Okay. And so then the other thing that I saw, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to make a like short little sections as I go through these because I loved this so much. And it's in this book about Seeking Fairy by Emily Carding. They use they them pronouns. And they spoke about how it is UFOs and aliens have a lot in common. So classic types of aliens fit the description of fairy beings from folklore and like hobgoblins and such. They share the phenomenon of lost time, both blamed for crop circles and are more esoteric among UFO aficionados, maintain that they come from deep within the earth, just like fairy beings. Did I read that right? Anyway. And so they speak about how we understand things that we see but don't get or whatever through our own psychology of stuff. And so then when we see something that is like a phenomena on such as fairy beings, because the Tuatha Dé Danann went under the ground in Ireland years and years ago, is that thousands of years ago? Anyway, like there are speakings, and I'm sure in other cultures, about beings that like live in the earth, or that like just generally the earth's power itself. And they're speaking about like how we've like gone so far towards space travel, and so we can believe for some reason that UFOs could come and land here, but we're less likely to believe that there are folk and fae living within our planet, or alien beings within our planet that are already here. And that could like, you know, speak to a million different things, sure. Because like, mole people and all the things that have come up over years and shit like that. But also, for me, it rang totally true as far as literally, like, we continuously have this like belief that power is something that you take and get from an external place, and that it is not something that is inherently within you. Externalized God, externalized deities, externalized, like, you know, material things that like will fulfill and make, no, like, and it's that, I just said this in the last one too, where last episode, I mean, where like at a certain point a precedent was created for the thing that you need to get approval from and love from and acceptance from and forgiveness from. Give your own self forgiveness. What are you asking someone else to do that for you? Do that work yourself. I feel that very strongly, clearly, but be kind with yourself while you're doing it. It's just like, the anger that I have at the way that specifically the Catholic Church, because that's what I grew up with, taking this power from people in ways that they don't even understand the power has been taken from them. Like, you have the power to forgive yourself for the thing. Do not go seeking from someone you fucked over for forgiveness over shit you can't do the work yourself. Go figure, right? They have this like, oh yeah, daddy in the sky is gonna fix it all, because then we can all be awful to like pretty much every child that we ever encounter, psychologically as well as physically. And we never have to actually do any of this inner work ourselves. Plus, if everyone has a shadow within themselves that they're not doing the work about, that no one really ever knows about because they're looking outside of themselves for answers, then we can continue to live in this shadow chaos version of human existence and get away with our... Even those people deserve better than they're fucking allowing for themselves, but they're feeding this like what it's seen as devil energy, but like devil and God both live within you. Shadow and light both live within you. Choose which one you feed. Oh, that's that wolves story Indigenous Americans have. Anyway, so yeah, the fae are in the earth, the fae are in the skies. The universe is just mind-bogglingly boundless and humongous and ever expanding, and of course we're not alone. But why are you looking out there when we haven't figured out everything in here first? Okay, that's all I'm gonna say on it today. I don't know if this is how people learn, but this is how I'm expressing it. So I will see you in the next random little segment, and thank you for listening. Thank you for being here.